Hey everyone, a good Erev Shabbos. I hope this message finds you and your loved ones healthy and safe and well, and I hope you had a meaningful and an inspirational last days of Pesach. The end of this week's parsha, in Parshas Shmini, the Torah tells us, after detailing all the laws of kashrus, which animals it is permissible for us to eat, which animals it is prohibited for us to eat, the details of Tumah and Tahara, purity and impurity. There's an incredible link and a bond between Yitzias Mitzrayim and our very careful adherence to the laws of kashrus, kedas v'kedin. The Torah tells us, Ki ani Hashem hamala eschem me'eretz Mitzrayim. I am Hashem who brings you up from the land of Egypt, liyos lachem lelukim, to be a God unto you. V'hi yisem kedoshim. You shall be holy. Why? Ki kadosh ani, because I am holy. Now Rashi points out that usually, when the Torah describes our Yitzias Mitzrayim, the word that it uses is Hotzeisi eschem me'eretz Mitzrayim, that I am Hashem who brings you out of Mitzrayim. What is the meaning of the phrase hamala eschem? That I am Hashem who brings you up from the land of Egypt, from the land of Mitzrayim. So he quotes the Tana Debei Rabbi Yishmael, who says, "Ilmolei lo yalesi es Yisrael mi Mitzrayim." Had I not brought Bnei Yisrael out of Mitzrayim, ela b'shvil she'ein mitamin b'sharatzim, for any reason other than the fact that they do not make themselves impure through eating creeping things, kishar umos, like other nations of the world, dayam, it would have been sufficient for them to have been redeemed. Why? It is considered them abstaining from these eating of these creeping animals. It's an elevation for them. Zeu loshin mala. And this is the reason why Rashi explains why the Torah Kedosha uses the expression of brings up. That Hashem is mala eschem as opposed to hotzesi eschem, to bring out. There's a difference between the physical being brought out and the spiritual elevated level of being brought up. We are hoping that as we have emerged from the beautiful Yontiv of Pesach, that not only did we focus our attention on the physical redemption from our slavery to Paro in Egypt, but also there's this spiritual salvation, there's a spiritual geula that calls ourselves to be ma'ala eschem, to rise up, to be brought up from, to be able to be transcendent in every possible way. And the example that the Torah gives is through being very scrupulous and careful and conscientious with the food that we eat. Eating kosher food is not just a good idea. It has a tremendous amount of influence on our souls, on our neshama. A person who eats kosher elevates our soul, elevates the ruchnius. In fact, so much so that our care with regard to the laws of kashrus, those laws and those laws alone would have been sufficient enough for us to be redeemed from Mitzrayim, says Rashi, quoting the Tana Debei Rabbi Yishmael. Very powerful insight. And what we understand from this idea is that food influences us in such a way, perhaps in ways that we don't even necessarily realize. How much more care do we have to be so aware of in the laws of kashrus, perhaps more careful than previously, realizing that the influence that it has on our neshama, on our soul, on our koyach hatfilah, on our ability to daven effectively and efficiently. So our power of tefillah, our power of our neshama, is very much influenced by the food that we eat, by the kashrus that we observe, by the laws of kashrus that we are careful to keep. I think that this idea can be easily highlighted, noting that there's a fascinating backstory to the Kind Bar, which I know you're all familiar with. A Kind Bar is you pick one up at a grocery store, at a 7-Eleven, at an airport kiosk. But I'm not sure if all of you are familiar, as I wasn't, the backstory of the Kind Bar. How did the Kind Bar start? So there's a fellow by the name of Daniel Lubetzky who started the Kind Company in 2004. He was the founder, the salesman, the box packer, the delivery man, and collection officer all at once. Today, the Kind Company has nearly 500 team members, and Lubetzky, who's now CEO, has learned the importance of nurturing the culture at Kind. So it's more than just a bar that you pick up and buy to satisfy your craving hunger, but rather there's something that's a culture. What's the culture? So Lubetzky was born the son of a Holocaust survivor, and he grew up hearing stories from his father about life in a concentration camp. But what influenced him the most is when he recounts his father's story of starvation and an unexpected act of kindness of a potato that was thrown his way, an act that the father told him claims saved his life. Just the simple act of kindness of a potato being thrown his way is what saved his life. And how he never forgot that kindness. And how it inspired him so much, this Daniel, to start a company and name this bar that we all eat and we all know, and perhaps we take for granted the meaning of words and certainly the power and the impact of food that we eat. The Kind Bar, the history of that Kind Bar is the kindness that was shown to his father in a concentration camp. The influence of a bar, now that it has its meaning, there's kindness. And so since hearing that story, this Daniel, he made it his business and his life work to build a company that at its core inspired people to live a kind life. It wasn't just to eat a food item to satisfy your craving hunger, but rather to have something that influences you. There's kindness that went into the starting of this company. There's kindness that went into the founding of this bar. And there's kindness into the food that we eat. So I think this is a very powerful lesson. We think about what we eat and the influence that it has on us. And the Mirz Hashem, in appreciating this renewed fervor of appreciation, what kashrus is meant to be and how it's meant to be observed, we can appreciate that our whole geula, our whole redemption was made worthwhile then, and the Mirz Hashem, our geula shlema, will be made worthwhile likewise as well. I wish each and every one of you a wonderful, peaceful, healthy, and a beautiful Shabbos. I miss you all, and I look forward to seeing you all soon.